Hello, and welcome to another Star Citizen Addicts Anonymous. I'm Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo, and I've lost count at what episode this is because it's been months since I was actually able to do one of these shows. I don't have a lot of excuses. I have a couple of reasons why I haven't done them, the biggest one being time has been sucked right out of my life because I am doing a lot of schoolwork and a lot of work. But now it's January, things have calmed down at work, and I've gotten used to going back to school, and I've been able to do a much better job at scheduling things. And hopefully that means that you're going to get at least 2 of these a month, if not 4, when necessary, when Cloud Imperium Games is doing a lot and gives us a lot of information to talk about. There is some things to talk about today, so let's get right into it. On Friday during Reverse the Verse and on Thursday during Around the Verse, it was announced that the next Hangar ship is going to be that's the Car2AL, or Car2AL, I guess you call it, and that's a Xi'an Scout. The Xi'an Scout was available and is now currently available yet again for $150. I was lucky enough to have a couple of my wonderful viewers buy me 2 of them way back when they were in concept stage. And if they keep on going this way, I'm going to love this ship when it finally comes out and we get to walk around it. And again, when it comes to Arena Commander and the Baby PU. That was wonderful. On Around the Verse, there was also some interviews, and Jared interviewed the flight model team, the developers that are working on the flight model. During that interview, one of the developers, John Pritchett, mentioned something about atmospheric flight. He stated that there would be no aerodynamics taken into consideration for atmospheric flight, and instead they'd rely on that technology had progressed so far that they use their thrusters and pretty much fly in atmosphere like they fly in space, although there would be a little bit more buffeting or turbulence. I am not upset with that. I think that's a wonderful way to do it, because if they don't reduce the realism and just make it so it's kind of like flying in space with a little bit of buffeting, you're talking about aerodynamic forces, having to model stalls and spins and all sorts of wonderful things and teach people how to land. Well, I'm all for realism, which is why I play games like DCS World and IL-2, Stormovic, but I don't want that type of realism inside of Star Citizen. So I'm glad that they chose that method by which they're going to give us atmospheric flight. And if you all remember from Pupil to Planet, that is something that I am definitely waiting for, because I want to take a part in the exploration phase of Star Citizen, and I really can't wait to use those ships to find a new planet, sit down, and see what's there. All right, also we have the Baby PU. Yet another patch has come out. This past Friday, they released 2.1.2. A lot of little bug fixes, things like, I think it was a freelancer, if you blew out the rear turret, you were no longer able to target it anymore. So that was corrected. But I did find quite an interesting bug. Sunday night is that's the day that all the enablers get together, enablers being the official organization for this show. And I was flying with Onion, Pappy Boynton, and Dr. Jeffrey, who is the research editor of the show. And we went into Vandal Swarm, co-op Vandal Swarm. And we did a public match because we figured we should add a couple of thousand rec to our already 500 million rec. And we all chose one ship. We all wanted to fly out and see how quickly we can get through the gauntlet with the Vanguard Warden. So all of us choose Vanguard Warden. I look at the page, everybody has a Vanguard Warden. I push go, launch I should say. We get in, Pappy has a Vanguard Warden, and his joystick doesn't work. But that might have been an X55 problem. I hope you got that fixed, Pappy. I guess I'll wait and hear from you later in the week. Well, Onion got an M50. That was kind of weird, right? It said Vanguard Warden, but he got an M50. I got a Vanguard Warden. And then Dr. Jeffrey got a buggy, a gray cat buggy. That's got to be some kind of bad joke, right? And he was stranded there. So at some point I told him, hey, get to the main station in the center, the center space station, or the Spire, whatever you want to call it, and I was going to go over there and pick him up. Well, Pappy drops out because his joystick isn't working. I'm helping Onion kill as much as I can, but in trying to pick up Dr. Jeffrey, I was shot down twice, and I just gave up on it the third time. By, I think it was about the 14th wave, wave 14, I got killed, and I left Onion there alone, all by himself in an M50 with one weapon. And I think he got through the next two waves before he got blown up. Onion's one of the best pilots, although he's one of the most humble people that you'll talk to. That was pretty fun. We tried to do it again and wound up with the same problem. Onion kept getting the M50, and I believe Jeffrey got the Gray Cat one more time. Or maybe he... No, we just had Onion have that issue. We figured out that if we all exited the game, deleted our user folder, and came back in, everything was going to work, and it did. So the baby PU, is it 100%? Is Arena Commander 100%? Is anything in this game 100%? No, it's a work in progress. And every time they bring out new features, they're going to have to fix and squash bugs that they haven't seen before. But it's fun finding them, and I guess it's something I should have put into the bug tracker. All right, unmelting. So for those of you that don't know what melting and unmelting is, when you sell back a ship to CIG and get credit for that, in-store credit, it's called melting your ship. Concierge has given the people that spend over $1,000 the right to unmelt their ships in the past, and then for a little bit they took that away, and then they promised us they were going to give it to everybody. So they came out with this system of unmelting your ship. You would go into your hangar, you would choose unmelt previous ships or packages, and well, lo and behold, you'd be able to pay some cash and get back a ship that you melted months before, years before, days before. The problem was you had to use real money, real currency to make that purchase. And for many people, that just didn't seem right. So CIG heard the cries of thousands of people saying it was unfair they couldn't use in-store credit, and they altered the system a tiny bit, and I think it works well. And the way that the system was altered is once a quarter, they're going to give us a token. That token is going to allow you one unmelt during that quarter, and you will not be able to stack them, meaning that say you wait 3 months, you would think you have 3 tokens. No, it's 1 token a quarter. They don't roll over, they don't stack. I think that is a fair bit of I think that's a great compromise. Last 2 stories, I'm going to try to tie them together, okay? So the first one I'm going to tell you about is that this past weekend was PAX. Whenever there's some kind of con, there's always some kind of fly-free week. Well, you have that now. So go out and try the game if you haven't already purchased it. If you have purchased it, go and find one of those ships that you may want to get when the game goes live with UEC, or maybe you can't wait that long and you just want to spend your hard-earned cash on a virtual ship. Go out there, test it, and if you like it, you could buy it. Well, that is kind of for the people that already have the game. What about for the people that don't? There will be a way you could find the code that was given out at PAX and go online and play free for a week. I think it's a week. When I said it was a week during Dragon Con, though, it was almost 3 weeks. But you'll be able to go in there and play the game. Well, if you like the game, you're going to have to buy it fast. Because if you don't, you're going to lose out on something big. And I don't need this anymore to talk about this. I'm going to need both my hands for this. So wait for it. Ooh. So ever since the inception of Star Citizen, ever since the campaign started, the Kickstarter campaign, when you pledged for Star Citizen, you got Squadron 42. When you pledged for Squadron 42, you got Star Citizen because they've been one and the same. They've said from the beginning, eventually that's not going to be the case. You're going to have to buy the game separately because they are 2 AAA games that are separate from each other, but tied together through lore. Well, as of the 14th of February, you will need to buy these separate. So I implore you, if you haven't purchased the game yet, all you have to do is spend $45 on an Aurora or a Mustang package. That's it. And maybe, just maybe, in the next couple of weeks, they'll start putting out those anniversary starters again for like $30 to make it easier. but I doubt it. $45 for this game is a steal because you're going to get a lot of content. For those of you that aren't going to take advantage of that and are just waiting to see how the game is, I understand. Take your time. You'll have other options, and maybe you're just a Star Citizen person, or maybe you'll be just a Squadron 42 person. But from the 14th of February on, those two packages will be separated, and you will have to purchase them alone. Sorry about that, folks. Well, that takes us to the end, and I wanted to talk about streaming just a little bit. I've set up a behemoth of a computer at this point. Well, not a behemoth, but a mini behemoth. And I'm starting to stream. I'm starting to learn what to do, how to keep people interested. It might take me a bit, but I'm streaming at twitch.tv/Nikki65. And the last part of it is NIKKI65. Come on out and watch whenever I'm on. Follow me and see what you can do. And now for the closing, all right? Remember to click that thumbs up button below. It's very important to help the channel get credibility and get some visibility. Remember to leave comments, because any of your comments, even if they're constructive criticism, they're going to help make this show better. Sorry. And of course, if you want to support the show and keep it going, you can go over to patreon.com/batgirl and become one of my patrons. Patrons help pay for my equipment and even more so pay for all that internet bandwidth that it takes to upload videos. With everybody starting to cap data, it's a costly business. You don't make money through ads anymore, or not as much. That is all I got for you this week. I hope there's enough information to bring you next week. I'm praying that we at least get a flyable saber soon. Maybe we get an update that gives us a feature that we didn't hear about yet. And those are the things that I'd love to bring to you and to break down for you in the next show. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.